Move fast and break things. That's the subject of today's video, and that's the era that we're in as we're talking about Trump and Musk. I'll explain what I mean as we go through the headlines of the day, and let's jump right in. So this is the what's coming out right now. U.S. deports hundreds of Venezuelans despite court order. In the last video, we talked about how the judge was trying to block Trump and Musk, but I guess they just ignored the courts and went ahead with mass deportation. Musk then got a new haircut. This is just 8 hours ago. Make of that as you will. Musk says going back to this haircut, and he's wearing a Space Cowboys thing. I'll let you guys be the judges of what to make of this stuff. He also is tweeting out just 6 hours ago about the deportations, 238 Venezuelans. They're going to claim all of these people are criminals. I've read reports that we talked about in the last video, maybe not. And this is sort of where the problem always lies with Trump and Musk. They try to do things really, really quickly, do it at odd hours, do it on weekends, and then there's no checks and balances, right? So this is where the issue is. They're seizing a lot of power. And when you do this so quickly and no one's checking on you, suddenly you'll have so much power that they can't, well, we'll just say they'll have too much power. I'll put it that way. I don't want to say they can't be stopped, because they can be. Hopefully we still live in a democracy, but people do need to be aware of what's happening. This is also what Musk is tweeting out. AI needs to say the truth and know the truth, even if the truth is unpopular. It's like, how do we even make of this stuff? Remember, Musk's whole plan is to fire everyone and replace everyone with his AI and his robots. I'll just say this. I saw the movie Terminator, right? I've seen these iRobot movies. I know the movie Blade Runner, all these things. These movies, these books, right? Do androids dream of electric sheep? This kind of stuff. They're all written with warnings of this sort of dystopian future. And it's kind of strange that Musk is always sort of celebrating this dystopian future that we're looking at. And again, the main concern that I have right now is they're trying to seize so much power so quickly. And these people are professional gaslighters, meaning that they get you to question reality, they distort the truth, they mislead you constantly. Here's an example of it. 8 hours ago, Musk tweets out true, and this is an account that he interacts with. School choice would destroy public education. Okay, and then the other person replies, because so many families want to escape public school, and then there's no answer, and then they're angry. See, this is gaslighting, and for many people, they can't concentrate on multiple subjects, and so this will just confuse you basically. But I'll just make it really simple. Essentially, when you phrase things in their way, by reframing stuff, then it ignores the reality. The reality is they want to weaken education, and not everyone has an option to go to a private school, depending on which city you live, or has the money to. So that's why you don't necessarily want to destroy public education, right? And it's like, this is the kind of stuff that we have to deal with. And now, as you can see, another headline: Venezuela blasts illegal U.S. deportations under wartime law. And I know stuff's hard to follow, guys. I know they do this on purpose. This is coming from Venezuela. Venezuela rejects the application of the anachronistic law, illegal and violation of human rights against our migrants. Profound indignation at the threat of kidnapping 14-year-old children. And that's what I was saying. Essentially, the way that the Musk and Trump, the way they write these bills, the way that they do things, they try to seize a bunch of power and then use a sort of a general argument in order to do everything, right? So the same way they say, oh, well, some public schools are bad and some parents want to send their kids to private schools, so therefore, let's just defund all public schools, right? That's sort of the logical fallacies that they make. Or in this situation, I guess we're paying El Salvador to take these supposed gang members. It says here, U.S. Set to pay El Salvador $6 million to jail 300 alleged gang members, right? So again, I want to make this really clear. I'm all about protecting America. I don't dispute that we should protect America. If some of these people are criminals, I don't dispute that we should probably deport them, and they should face whatever penalties, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean that I want to do it in a way where people don't have human rights, and doesn't mean I don't want to give people a fair hearing, right? Because you want to make sure you do things right. So, for example, this is something that the Musk and Trumps won't talk about, but I guess there was a Canadian that was held up at the border of Mexico. She was trying to renew her visa, and she was like an actress, I guess. And then her mom had to turn to social media and be like, my daughter is being detained. These were the headlines. Canadian American Pie actress detained by ICE and allegedly wrapped in chains after applying for a visa at U.S. border. Canadian Jasmine Mooney detained by ICE for days after trying to enter U.S. from Mexico, her mom says. And all this, I'll tell you this. I've mentioned before on the channel, you guys may not know, my wife is Korean. We cannot enter the USA. Actually, I can, but she can't because we have issues with her green card situation, which is a whole other story. And essentially, the system is broken and slow. And I think it's been, I don't know, maybe a year and a half or 2 years since she can't enter. It's something like that. If you want to know the exact details of it, we decided to leave the USA, and she had a temporary green card. We canceled her green card because we came back here in Korea. Because if the way the rules work is you have to stay in the USA a certain amount of time, and then you apply for like a second, more permanent green card. And because we wanted to come back to Korea, we wanted to go back to just her being a Korean national, no residency status. But now she's in limbo status, essentially, and my wife actually can't enter the USA until we get the final cancellation of her green card, which we have never gotten. So, which may never come for all I know, because Musk and Trump are firing a lot of, employees in the federal government. So, so I'm just saying, I completely understand how the system is a total mess. I completely understand. Like where my wife and I were involved with this stuff now. So it became a real issue. If you guys have been following my channel, you would know this. I lost my family at the end of the Vietnam War. I found my family after 40 years. It's a really long story. I wrote a book about these issues. And my wife was actually unable to meet my mom. My mom died from cancer, so my wife never got to meet my mom. It's a complicated issue, and I know people are like, can't understand this stuff. I understand, guys. It's tough. If you've never had any of these experiences, if you've never left the country, if you have no idea what borders are like, if you've never met people from other countries, you have no idea what the heck we're talking about. And I understand that. But I just wanted to say, like, if you want to do things the right way, you wouldn't just do these mass things that Trump and Musk are doing. And I know it's hard. It's really hard to navigate this world. We also have a new poll coming out, and this is sort of from Fox News. It says, new poll details Americans' views on Trump and Musk. You always know it's bad when Fox News doesn't really give you much of a headline. The headline from Fox News is, hey, we got a new poll, right? So you know it's bad. This was the actual data for Fox News. It says Trump's approval rating stood in negative territory at 42 to 53%, and they try to hide the numbers, right? So basically, people don't like Musk or Trump. But it gets worse than that, actually, and I want to be clear on this stuff. The Democrats and the Republicans are both unpopular, but for different reasons. And this is where Trump and Musk are really good at gaslighting people. But the basic gist of it is people are feeling pretty negative about Trump and about where the economy is going. And then on the Democrat side, people are feeling negative that the Democrats aren't fighting Trump and Musk enough, right? So negative for different reasons. And that's why you have to understand the nuances of this stuff. But these are the headlines here. NBC poll shows voters upbeat yet souring on Trump's economy. And you also got this, voters like the idea of Doge, but Elon Musk and his early results raise red flags. So you got various data on that. 54% disapprove of Trump's handling of the economy. 55% disapprove of his handling of inflation, cost of living. And then just 18% of voters rate the U.S. economy as excellent or good. This is what Musk is tweeting out, and I just want to show you guys both parties are unfavorable at the moment, not happy. People are not happy with them. So new poll, Republican Party favorables 36, Democrat favorables 29, so they're both low. Unfavorable for the Republicans 48, and unfavorable for the Democrats 54. But again, you have to understand why the numbers are the way that they are. The main reason why the Democrats are unfavorable among Democratic voters at the moment is because, again, the Democrats don't feel like that the Democratic leadership is fighting enough against Trump and Musk. So I just want to make that clear. So the way that if you just read it just in the numbers, you wouldn't necessarily understand what's going on. But it's going to get a whole lot worse among everyone, not just Democrats, not just Republicans, as the trade war is going to hurt a lot of people. It will hurt a lot of people in red states, and that's by design because I'll just say this. I mean, by the Trumps and Musk, that they don't care about regular workers. I'll leave it at that. It's obvious every single day, and it's frustrating to talk about any of this kind of stuff because the way things are doing it, the things that they say. It's obvious kind of where the country is going, and it's not in a good direction. And it's sad that there's not enough people out there that'll just tell you the truth about this stuff and do it in a way that makes sense. And I guess what's so hard about this world that we live in is that they want to destroy public education so people can't even understand basic numbers. So I think that there's that. I know even now, I'm a bit flustered in this video. I'm just being frank with you because it's so hard to go through all this stuff. Okay, so these are the jobs that be affected. I'll show you the first map here. A lot of red states are going to be affected by Trump's tariffs, basically, right? And what's interesting is Trump is always talking, negative things about China, etc. 1.1 million jobs will be affected in the Trump counties by the tariffs with China. 468,000 by the Harris counties, right, for tariffs in China. But actually, you're going to be affected a lot more from the Canadian tariffs. So the reason why I mentioned it in this way when we're talking about it is Trump will sort of, to be frank here, use racism to say, attack China and China's evil, that kind of stuff. But actually, yes, China matters. I'm not going to say that China doesn't matter, but don't ignore what's happening with the tariffs with Canada. It's going to affect a lot of jobs, right? That's the whole point of showing you this chart. So don't ignore the jobs that will be affected by the tariffs in Europe. It's going to affect a lot of jobs. We're all connected through all this stuff, and we're all human. And the average person just wants to live their life, and the politics of the day and whatever Trump and Musk are doing shouldn't be like this drama queens on nonstop headlines, but that's who they are. For me, I just want my government to be stable. You want your Social Security checks to show up on time. You want your VA to work. You want things that just, you don't have to be talking about who's the leadership nonstop. But the way Trump and Musk are doing stuff is just affecting everything, right? You can't talk about markets without mentioning them, and you can't talk about world trade without mentioning them, and you can't talk about just our daily lives without mentioning them because they affect everything at the moment. Consumer sentiment is starting to dip down, meaning that people are concerned about their jobs, concerned about whatever purchases they're going to make in the future, and expectations for inflation is going up, meaning that I think the last time that we checked, it was like a 3-decade high of what people expect the future of inflation is going to be. The way that Musk and Trump, and I think the last quotes from Trump was like, "Hey, you're going to feel a little bit of pain, but it's going to be worth it." It was in that respect, and Musk said a similar thing. So at least they're being honest about you're going to feel pain. I mean, that's one of the few things that these people are honest about. But the main thing is, if you ever have any conversations, because I know you guys do on a daily basis, right, with any MAGA people or stuff like that, and then they love everything that Trump and Musk are doing. Just the main questions to just make it as simple as possible is, if the things that they're doing are correct, why are they always trying to hurry it so fast? Why are they doing it on weekends at odd hours? And why are they always so angry at judges, right? Because this is a fundamental part of the American system is rule of law. And at the moment, it feels like the only one that's really going to put a stop to them is the courts, because the rule that there are things that they're doing is unconstitutional or illegal. So that's what I'm watching for. And then obviously then you want to have Democratic leadership or opposition party, or going to say it, and it could be independent, whatever, come in and just talk the truth with the American people. I think the problem we have right now is it's a twofold. One is the education is so low in USA, and they want to destroy education. So people have that issue. Maybe I guess you could say three things. You also have economic issues in the USA, to where people are just so busy trying to keep food on their table that they don't have enough time to really pay attention to what's going on. So it's difficult, right? And even if you do pay attention to what's going on, it's difficult because there's so much going on. So I've not lived through an era like this. I think what I mean by that is there's just so much misrepresentations, misleadingness, and lies happening on a daily basis. It makes it hard. I follow this stuff. If you watch my channel, you probably follow this stuff too. But I'm just telling you the truth that even if I'm struggling, imagine the person who, works 50-hour a week, who barely pays attention to news, and all they hear is just like, oh, Trump says blah blah blah, make America great, and like, oh, okay, he's gonna give me a job and cut all my taxes. That's awesome. And like they won't have time to go through everything because basically Trump's a liar, right? Or Musk is a liar. It doesn't matter. So then it becomes really, really difficult to have any conversations with these people. And I'm sure you guys understand the frustration that I have. So that's, and you have too, I'm sure you do. And that's why, like, all I can do is just show you what they say, show you kind of what the talk of the day is, and give you honest opinion on this stuff. And I'm also clear with you guys. I'm not a type of person that's just gonna, sugarcoat and say, oh yeah, well, one side is bad, and Democrats are just awesome all day, every day, and I kiss their feet all the time. And I never say that. You'll never hear me say these kind of things. The issue that I think that we face at the moment, and this is where it becomes, for some people, just be really blunt about it, racism, is they'll say, well, if someone looks a certain way, like Trump or Musk, if they have a certain skin color, I'll let them pass with a grade of D, right? But for a Democrat, right, on the other side, if they're a woman or a different type of flavor of person, they have to have a B plus or A grade to pass, right? Like, we have a different set of standards that how we judge people by, or rate people, and that's where it becomes grossly obvious what's going on and where the country is going. And it's deeply frustrating too, when many of the people who are surrounded by Trump and Musk are all born rich, and they frankly don't care about you whatsoever. And it's obvious. But I guess as long as they look a certain way, you just let them do what they want to do. And that's where it's frustrating. And like I said, I try to be polite about this stuff. But I grew up in USA. I know how it is. I really know. I know more. I really know. And then I'll say that. So I do appreciate your time, and I'll catch you on the next video.